I hope I'm old before I die, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Man vs. Mind. This is the final part of Man vs. Aging. My name is Tim.
And I'm Jay.
And we are going to explore why getting old is actually great. Part 4. Yes. I feel like we've been on a bit of a journey.
I've really enjoyed it.
Have you?
Yeah, I've really enjoyed it. I think it's nice.
Likewise. And we've got quite a busy show today. So we're going to start off with the worst of aging. Right. After everything that we've discussed, from time passing too quickly to everything hurting to feeling like wistful about our youth and all of that. Oh, and the time travel stuff. Yeah. Don't forget the time travel stuff. But then we're going to evolve, and we always want to end our kind of like mini-series on a positive note. Something that feels good. Something to just take away that just leaves you with a little bit of a spring in your step. But before we get going with that, we've had a bit of a busy week on Instagram. So we ran some polls. Firstly, I wanted to find out if people think birthdays are great or if they suck. And it was 50-50.
Oh, okay.
Really, really genuinely close call. You can find us on Instagram at Man vs. Mind Pod. And then I started asking the audience a little bit about their views on the worst and the best of aging. And found some consistent narratives. We had a couple of people respond with for the worst, because that's where we're going to start today. We're going to start with the worst part about getting old.
And work our way to the good.
Yeah, as the show goes on, it's going to get progressively more positive. And we've got a little treat right at the end of the episode, so stick around for that. And so when I asked our audience, what's the worst bit about getting old? What do you think the first thing was that people complained about?
Health related. So maybe not being so mobile, maybe putting on weight easily, being tired, these kind of things.
I mean, I can relate to all of those
Yes, exactly. That's probably why I said it. 'Cause that's exactly how I feel. Podcast done.
Every day, every day. I tell you what, getting old sucks because you're fat and everything hurts.
Yeah.
It was health related. Yeah. The main thing we saw people complaining about was back pain.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Genuinely, back pain. We got another couple of responses. I'll keep them anonymous. It kind of seems fair to, yeah. And one of them, we had a bit of a back and forth over the kind of the meaning of what he was trying to say, and it was basically kind of becoming much more aware of the people around you, the people who you thought you might have had really good relationships with, and you start to understand a bit more about sort of what they're about and their beliefs and what they stand for, and then realizing in quite a painful way that you don't align with them.
You're not in the same position. Yeah.
As you get older, you start to realize that more and more with people, which is a really beautifully insightful kind of way of looking at it.
Yeah, I think as you get older, you become more decisive in your actions and how you feel, and you can really get stuck in the mud. On your beliefs.
Yeah, 100%. Especially when you then start to realize that they conflict with those around you. And then you kind of have quite a difficult decision to make, which is, well, okay, so we might have had fun on a night out or, at family parties. But do I actually want to invest more time in this relationship when we fundamentally disagree on so many things?
Yeah.
If it comes right down to like really core principles, that can be a really challenging situation to deal with.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
Conversely, we had a response from Maven, who said the worst thing about getting old is floating testicles.
Floating testicles? What is that?
I presume they meant in the bath. So as things start to dangle.
Oh, thank God I don't have a bath at home.
Thank you for your contribution, mate. Yeah. There is a slightly more serious note that I'd like to address. We had a really, really wonderful set of messages from somebody on Instagram. We'll keep them anonymous because it ties into what we were speaking about a little while ago, actually, when we did our episode about awareness. What might be going on in the mind of those around you? And we will get back to the aging thing in a second, but I think this is a really valuable detour. I'm just going to jump straight in with what this person sent to us.
Yeah, please.
It was quite a truncated set of messages, but they basically jumped straight in with, I went through an episode in my life with 3 years of antidepressants. I decided not to take them because I used to have blackouts when I was on them while consuming alcohol. But I took charge of my life. I gave up alcohol for a while, started exercising more, and now I'm okay. The thing is, and this is crucial to what we're trying to do with the show, the thing is, men don't want to share their feelings. And I didn't have anybody to talk to, not even my best friend. And it feels like me against the world all the time with no respite. I have my parents to worry about, my siblings and my work, but no one ever asks me how I'm doing. I'm the oldest child, so I always felt it's my responsibility to take care of everyone. And then, in a way that kind of a lot of people do, they apologized.
Yeah.
For sharing. And I was genuinely like really blown away by that kind of sequence of messages. And we had a back and forth and we chatted and I said, look, thank you so much for sharing and feeling comfortable enough to share with us, and kind of said, look, you don't ever need to apologize for how you're feeling.
No.
If only more people did.
Yeah.
And it really knocked me off my feet. It only happened about an hour before we started recording. And if anybody else is kind of feeling like that, I didn't want to dig too much. I firstly just wanted to pay like my thanks and show my respect for them actually feeling like they can say this, right?
It's brave to do that.
But what it made me feel, most importantly, is that people need to be asked, how are you doing? How's it going? Is everything all right?
I agree. I mean, we kind of missed that point when we did our awareness. It was more about how we're feeling and, you know, what we can do. But I think there is a lot more that can be done by just asking that simple question. You know, how's everything going? And truly meaning it.
Yeah. And just observing how other people might be doing. And if you sense that something is off, actually don't be afraid to ask. Yeah. Obviously, it depends on like a social context and stuff. But if you're one-on-one, or if you're in a situation where you're hanging out with somebody that you're kind of close to, especially if it's family.
Yeah, sure.
Don't be afraid to ask. Genuinely don't be afraid to ask. And this, I kind of said to this person, people should be allowed to ask. And they said, I wish people did. I wish my closest friends and family had asked me how I was doing, because I'd have had the opportunity to open up. But because they always assume that you're okay, and especially if these people are counting on you, if you kind of have a responsibility of care.
If you've got a chink in your armor and everything's reliant on them, then they're never going to ask that question, because the answer could be a little bit more catastrophic if anything's going wrong.
Yeah. And that person said, as kind of like one of the final things that they said as part of this conversation, was the question never comes up. And that's really fucking rough.
Yeah.
That's really, really rough. So firstly, I want to thank that person so much for feeling like they can speak up and feeling like they can speak up with us.
Yeah, very much so.
And genuinely, to the whole world and whoever's listening to us talking in this tiny little room, if you feel like it's really fucking hard, and if you feel like you're going through some stuff that nobody else can relate to, drop us a message, drop us a line, drop us a voice note.
Yeah.
Send it by fucking carrier pigeon if you have to. Get in touch and just tell us what's going on, because we'll always respond and we'll always treat it with the utmost respect and the like integrity that it deserves.
Yeah, absolutely. And whatever we can do to help pointing you in the right direction, we'll do that as well.
Yeah, we absolutely will. Whew. Yeah, sorry, heavy start to the show, but so important.
No, very much so.
So important.
Very much so.
Yeah. Right. Everything feels a little bit kind of quaint after that.
Yeah.
Jay, what's the worst thing about getting old?
I want to repeat what's already been said. My back, everything, just being tired all the time.
Yeah.
Not having the energy to I don't know, I was going to say run around, but I never really ran around anyway. But you know what I mean? Just not having energy.
Yes.
Just
yes.
everything.
Yep. I can entirely relate to that. I think especially when you have kids, you feel like it's just endless.
Never ends.
And your need for energy, not just like physical energy, but mental energy is
yes.
never ending.
It doesn't. And you're just exhausted. And then time's running so fast that it feels like you never get chance. You're chasing your tail 24/7. And that's so exhausting.
Does it make you feel like time passes faster? And the sort of follow-up question is, following on from our conversation last week about trying to slow down time, have you tried that at all in the week since?
No, in all honesty, I haven't. I should have done.
Because time's gone too fast.
I didn't get a chance. I generally didn't get a chance to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think there's so much going on. And yeah, that's a brilliant thing about getting older. Like, we discussed previously that there is so much getting on, and these things that are going on are brilliant and they're amazing. And what you mentioned about, kind of taking stock and trying to slow down time. When do you get a chance to do it?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I'll have to admit, I've not tried it in the last week. I wish I had. But kind of what I found over the last week is that actually more so than physically feeling tired. And I started getting back into the gym.
Oh, nice.
Over the last week. And part of getting older and a part of like deconditioning from going to the gym over the last year is that it really fucking hurts.
Oh yeah, will do.
To go back to the gym.
That's great you've done that.
Well, I just thought maybe it's time for a change.
Yeah.
Maybe it's time to kind of start to shed the 12 kilos that I put on over the last year and actually try and start making some longer term responsible choices.
Yeah.
Around my health.
I made that decision about a month ago.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, nothing.
No.
So
what we mentioned about 4 or 5 episodes ago about you and your wife talking to a PT, interviewing PTs, I think you put it as.
Which we did.
Yeah.
And then everything kind of... It's summer over here. Nothing happens in summer.
No, it doesn't. Yeah, it's completely...
And that's a terrible excuse. And I'm glad it came to me so quickly. But
listen, man, that's good thinking on your feet. And sometimes with age comes a greater ability to deflect.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Okay, so we also asked our dads.
We did, yeah.
What they think the worst things about getting older are. So I've got a voice note from your dad.
Okay, I haven't, for some context, I haven't heard this yet.
No. So you got it from your dad, but you forwarded it on to me blindly.
Without listening, which is really tricky. I really wanted to see it.
Yeah, man, I know, right? Yeah, tempting. So here's what your dad said.
Okay.
James has often poked fun at me, saying, "Dad, you're getting old." I've always replied, getting old is much better than the alternative,
You said
which
that.
is not getting old. However, it can be frustrating getting up in the morning, reaching the toilet door in your head, but your body is still sat on the side of the bed. The aches and pains in your body reminding you of your old injuries suffered when you were much younger, having fun. And now your body is gently letting you know you can't do that again. Finding yourself in lengthy conversations with friends and family, discussing in detail the medication everybody's on and the various procedures everybody has gone through to get thus far in life. And then your wife gently reminding you, letting you know that only old people have that conversation. And she's right. I've always said you're as young as you feel. Age is just a number. So bring it on.
Oh, he was getting emotional at the end, and now I...
Oh, how does that feel?
Yeah, lovely. Yeah, really nice.
Hearing your dad's perspective on kind of the drawbacks of getting older.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, there's obviously fews, right? And I think the illnesses and all that stuff that kick in, and are unfortunately inevitable. That's always. I think looking at my perspective now, like my age, looking at my dad's, and even now I look at him and he's 10 times fitter than I am. He could run a marathon tomorrow if someone asked him to. He's out in the garden 24/7 digging holes or cutting down trees. He's got a 6-pack, And
way.
like he's got all this stuff. He's just
kudos, Jay's dad.
He doesn't sit on the sofa. And
Right.
I often think that's why he's in such the mental health and everything that he's in is so good is because he's always doing something. He never allows himself time to sit down unless it's beer o'clock and then tools down for a couple of hours,
Then
which
all
is
bets
fair.
are off for a bit.
Which is fair.
Yeah, I think you've deserved it.
Yeah, very much so.
That definitely kind of put our gripes into perspective because we obviously complain about feeling tired, everything's going too fast, life is so demanding. I think the perspective of getting older to the point where like your body doesn't move as fast as your mind does is quite something. And kind of what I inferred from that is you just get to a point in life where like you and everyone around you is talking about how old you feel and sort of various medications and surgeries that you've had, everything you're doing to kind of just stay on planet Earth. It definitely put things in perspective.
But it's also quite scary because we do that weekly, you and I, on a podcast. So we're 20, 30 years too old.
That literally is exactly what I mean. Yeah, we're sitting here in this tiny little windowless room, bitching and moaning about like my lower back hurts and my muscles ache from going to the gym. Whereas, 30 years down the line, we're going to have a whole bunch of different concerns and different things. So actually, Man versus Mind in 2055 is going to have a slightly different feel about it, I think. Yeah. So that was how your dad views aging and the worst side of getting old.
It's good that he's got the same. Well, I got the mantra from him. It's better than the alternative. So absolutely. I'm glad he still has that attitude.
Absolutely right. Yeah.
I've got an email from your father.
Oh.
Now I'm very nervous. In fact, I'm sweating about reading this out.
We are asking a dyslexic person to read out an email on the show.
Becoming increasingly aware that my fantastic life is going too fast, because I enjoy being interested in keeping busy, keeping fit, and attempted to fend off decline by eating sensibly, keeping interested in hobbies, drinking less alcohol, 2 days per week, no wine, and productively managing my health and diet. 75 years witnessing how unkind human beings can be to their fellow human beings, occasionally but increasingly feeling that, at my age, how we, senior citizens, are considered or implied to be irrelevant, obsolete in today's society, rather than listening and learning from our long experiences. He's got a regret here. It says regret that my parents are no longer here to witness and share in how well their number one son, his wife, and grandchildren have done and continue to do so in their lives.
Wow. I was not expecting that.
Okay.
The point about how humanity is so unkind to itself is staggeringly on point.
Yeah. Agreed.
So on point. And I mean, good for you, my dad, for all the things you're doing to keep yourself fit and healthy and in shape and all of that stuff. Again, very different perspective on kind of what we talk about. Much more big picture.
Very much so. Yeah.
Much bigger picture. And the lesson I'm taking from that right now is like we're really tunnel visioned in on our own stuff.
Yes, but also I think that's probably to do with this podcast as well, because we do tunnel in on certain subjects, certain episodes, which maybe could normally be a fleeting moment in your mind, but we choose to dig into it. So maybe it's having an effect on us.
Absolutely. I just mean sort of more generally on a day-to-day basis.
Okay, yeah.
We're so wrapped up in our own world and all the things that matter to us that wow, genuinely quite hard to put into words because that statement really affected me. But yeah, wow. Thanks for our dads sending in those messages. We are going to come back with much more uplifting stuff after this.
Welcome back to Man vs. Mind. So we're going to try and be a little bit more upbeat and uplifting. The good parts of getting old. Tim, what are yours?
My favourite thing about getting to the age I'm at, and after the first part, I'm like acutely aware of the fact that there's so much more for us to like learn, and our perspective is going to change so much over the years to come. But what I found at the ripe old age of hitting my late 30s recently is that I increasingly don't give a shit about what people think of me.
So liberating, isn't it?
Oh, it is so liberating.
So liberating.
Yeah, man. And I now no longer necessarily waste my time on the relationships that I've learned over time.
Yeah.
Really don't mean as much to me. And there's nothing particularly against those people.
No, it just...
But it's you know, if I'm made to feel insecure or inferior to someone else...
Yeah, why be there?
I don't spend my time with them.
No, I get that. Absolutely. There's, I don't know if it's more of an American kind of Americanism, but if it doesn't serve, what's the point of being there?
Yeah.
And I think you get so much better when you get older of realizing this does not benefit me in the slightest.
100%. 100%. And that is another word for that, I guess, is self-assurance. It kind of segues into the point of like, I now know my mind way better than I did when I was in my 20s and my early 30s. I've got much more perspective on the things that are important to me. And so if someone doesn't like me for the way I am, I really couldn't care less.
Yeah.
Really couldn't care less anymore. I'm kind of done at this age of like drama and melodrama and all those things that you go through in school and uni or in your early 20s where there's just like sort of discontentment and drama, for the want of a better term, within a group or a social circle. And I learnt this amazing tip from like one of my best friends in the whole world, and I don't speak to him enough, and if you are listening, Andy, I love you, man. One of the first things that I learned from my mate Andy at university is that as soon as somebody would start gossiping to him, he'd basically just go, la, 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 I don't care, and he'd just walk off. And I learned that from him quite early, but as I've got older, that just rings truer and truer and truer.
Yeah.
Watching my kids grow up.
Yeah.
And I'm very early in that journey, even 3.5 years since we had our firstborn. It's such a privilege.
It really is.
It's such a privilege. And it's an often spouted kind of cliche of getting older. When you see your kids just like learning and changing and developing.
But that's the thing, right? You're 3.5 years in. I'm coming up to 2 years in. And what she has done and the girl she's become in that 2 years, I cannot wait to see what happens in 30, 40.
But simultaneously, you can wait.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I want to take it day by day and like take my time and slow time down if I'm allowed to and if there's time to do so. But that's super exciting. Super exciting.
It really is. It really is. And you just can't wait to see how like all of this time and love and energy you've put into trying to shape this little person.
Yeah.
You can't wait to see how it pays off. I'm also terrified of seeing how it pays off. And I won't be saying that if we are doing Man vs. Mind in 2055 and I've raised a serial killer.
Yeah.
Okay, do you know what? It wasn't worth it.
It wasn't worth it.
It wasn't worth it.
And the mum pretty much did all the raising anyway. It was having to do with me. I'm out.
Yeah, actually, this is totally on them. This is totally on them. I suppose those are a couple of like the main things that I've enjoyed about getting older. That self-assurance and seeing my kids grow up. It's just rewarding.
Yeah.
A couple of the responses that we had on Instagram to this, were along the lines of self-assurance. Making decisions for you
Yeah.
was something that our aforementioned floating testicles friend said. Making decisions for you, having the wisdom to make a decision that's in your interest.
So he said something really deep and profound, and you went with floating testicles.
Well, I couldn't bring up the deep and profound stuff when it was contextually
It
irrelevant.
got brought up in the end. That's all that matters.
Yeah. I mean, I did the guy credit, Maven, because they did come back with something nice and kind of profound and sincere. Other stuff that we had sent to us was having adult money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like having money that's yours and you get to kind of distribute it in the way that you see fit.
Well, until you have a family, and then you don't. Then
and
everything
then
goes.
It's just gone again.
You get that sweet spot around 30 to 32 or whatever age it is, and you get 2 years of having fun and do whatever you want. Do you want to go on holiday? Go.
Well, maybe
Enjoy.
that's fate's way of saying it turns out you're actually grossly negligent
Yeah.
and
You need to
irresponsible
settle
with your
down.
finances. Here's a child, and all your money has to go to them now. Yeah, and yeah. So I think the main things we heard were kind of money, self-assurance, self-confidence, and wisdom, like alleged wisdom, because that kind of makes me wonder if I could speak to my younger self, kind of what would I say? And a big part of that is like, just don't be so wrapped up in like all this transient shit that's going on around you.
Yeah.
It's all going to be fine. It's all going to be fine. Just keep your head screwed on. Life is going to work itself out.
Yeah.
So yeah. So that's kind of how I'd consider like the benefit of growing older. Wisdom, independence, self-assurance.
Yeah. Very, very nice things to work towards as well.
Yeah.
Although, I know that you've got a lot of those things under wrap already, but, to be able to progress in them, to bring them out more and kind of,
Yeah.
Do you want to see what your dad thought?
Oh, yeah. I'd love to.
Okay, give me a second.
Yeah.
Sorry. Not a professional setup. I will
Yeah.
set my laptop up on my knee.
Get your lappy out.
Increasingly grateful and appreciate the many positive experience of my healthy 75 years. I have lived in 2 different countries, Australia and Spain. I have travelled and worked in several other countries around the world. 50 years ago next month, I married a brilliant and amazing 18-year-old girl from my own village, whom I met through music. We have had 3 children who have all done outstandingly well in their lives, plus given us 3 grandchildren. I traveled to Dubai regularly and spend quality fun time with my family. I have brilliant relationships with all my children and their spouses. I have great hobbies, e.g. playing the guitar, golf, freshwater angling, and bailiff activities.
Yeah. When I was looking for the words around the fishing lake, the guy that kind of like takes care.
Yeah.
I think we kind of came up with like caretaker for
Yeah,
lakes.
yeah, gamekeeper, right?
Gamekeeper for lakes. Bailiff is the
Bailiff,
word I was
there we
looking
go.
for. Yeah.
So that's your dad's positives.
Yeah. Again, substantially more profound than mine. Substantially more
But
so.
he also has more wisdom than you. He's older.
Yeah.
So he can be more
and-
profound.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, I'm really grateful. Thank you, Dad, for kind of sharing those insights, because it does make you realize that there's so much more to come.
Yeah.
And one of the ways that I've been kind of trying to frame it recently is, rather than like getting bogged down in the kind of the quagmire of aging, and we're taught societally that aging is a bad thing, and my dad even referenced it in the first part, which is like we're seen as increasingly irrelevant as we get older, that our voices matter less, even though we've seen so much more of the world.
The knowledge of life, they have more of it.
Yeah, substantively more. Wow, yeah. I mean, thank you for sharing that. And Jay, before we get onto your view on the best bits, the things that you're looking forward to about aging, I'm gonna kind of lead into that with another question, which is, how do you want to be remembered?
Oh, shit.
Deep, right?
That's a leading question.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. How would I want to be remembered? I think do you know what? It's actually quite easy. I think I want to be remembered as a great father, a great husband, and a great friend.
Yeah.
I don't think, if you can go out with those three, then you've done well. Then you don't need much more than that.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. And the reason why I was asking is because when I was thinking about this episode, that question came to mind. And my next thought was, holy fuck, this should guide everything I do for the rest of my life.
It's a good mantra.
Really. Because that's going to impact like every small decision that I make, every interaction I have, every way I handle myself in any circumstance. Is this true? Is this in keeping with the way I want to be remembered? And if it's not, then I should modify my behavior now and my mindset now
to accommodate that.
To accommodate the legacy I want to leave. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the best thing about aging?
Hey, it's all yet to come, isn't it? We gotta figure that out.
Yeah, like Taylor Swift says, I've got a blank space, baby.
I'm liking now. I love my family setup. I love how that is, and I think that's something obviously that comes of age with my direct family, with my wife and my kid, but also how close you get to your parents when you get older. I'm fortunate that I've always been very close to my parents, but especially when they get older, you want to see them more. You actively want to make sure they're coming over, because now you have a grandkid and you want them to be so involved in their life as well. I don't have any complaints. Like, the best thing, I don't know what the best thing is. I'm just enjoying it at the moment, and I know we complained a lot about small things, but like you say, they're insignificant when you hear what other people have said about what your dad and my dad have said about aging. I've got a bad back every now and again, and I'm tired. It's not all that bad.
It's not the end of the world, is it?
It really isn't.
No. So then, kind of following on from that line of thought, what are you looking forward to about being old? And I mean, like, objectively old.
Yeah, I'm with you. Seeing, hopefully having more children would be amazing.
Does your wife know that?
Yeah, she does.
Okay.
Yeah. Watching like the kids graduate, watching them find the happiness that I found, and having kids and then seeing that part of their life, that would just be beautiful to watch. And I'm grateful that my parents are around to watch that, because they must feel the same way looking at me and the kids and all that stuff. So yeah, that's something that I'm really, really looking forward to. I'm looking forward to seeing kind of where my wife and I end up, what country that may be, what setting that will be, because that will always be exciting. Yeah, there's so much to look forward to.
And the fact that it's just so wide open.
Yeah, it's for us to write. It's and that's really cool.
When you fast forward 40 years, what would be a good marker for thinking, I've done all right? The intro we did for this episode, is like someone just sitting on their porch observing like the family scene around them and reflecting and thinking, life's not so bad. I've done all right here. What would be a successful kind of marker for you?
It's weird that you've asked me that question, because I saw it last weekend. And I'm going to try not to get emotional, because it was very emotional. So bear with me. Maybe take the camera off me for this one, just in case. My father-in-law has not been well, as documented on here, and he's not been in the country. But he came back to the country on last Saturday, and I saw in another man's eyes what it meant to, what that marker
have
was.
That moment.
And that was that moment. All his family were in the room, and there was happiness and there was relief and there was everything. But there was a man at the end of the day that his world was in that one room.
Oh,
And I
wow.
think if you can have that you have a family that's that close at that age, that's the marker.
Man.
Yeah.
It's all we can hope for.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah,
And I
this
know
has been
that's
a lot
not easy.
deeper than we thought. This is meant to be the happy part, Tim.
It is the happy part. It is the happy part. It is the happy part. So there you have it.
Yeah.
We've got so much more to look forward to.
Yeah, very much so.
Like there's. So I'm not. I don't mean to keep quoting pop stars.
Taylor Swift, yeah.
But no. Natasha Bedingfield. The rest is unwritten.
But you know what's nice about this is we never really got emotional about the things that are ailing us now, or that are a pain, or that we're angry about, because I think we know they're fleeting and they're going to change, and they either get worse or they'll get better. But having that kind of optimism of what could come, and that feeling of there's still so much more to come, got us both quite emotional, which is
and excited.
and excited, and maybe that's
and
why
we should be. We should be. I think it's very easy to be kind of, like I said just now, like bogged down in the day to day, the feeling old. I had a conversation with a colleague of mine who was like, I just feel so old, and then my dad was like, well, you're turning 25 very soon, and she mentioned this to me, and I was like, you're just a wee bairn, you're so small, and I couldn't help but feel a little bit kind of almost like fatherly and protective, and just like, you're so young. It's fine. Don't worry about it. But I also remember when I was that young kid in the office. I say young, 25.
Yeah.
We do it our whole lives, feeling older than we were like 5 years before. But there's just, I genuinely reckon the joys of life are boundless the older you get. And you start to appreciate those things more and more and more. So yeah, your back might hurt. You might be tired. You might get floating testicles. That comment was gold. Just genuine gold.
It's the third time it's been brought up.
And it works each time. But there's still so much more to come. So if you take anything away from this series that we've done all about aging, we want it to be a positive. We want it to be that there's so much more to look forward to. So, look, we're going to wrap up the series there. Thank you so much for getting involved, sending us your thoughts. We've had other comments and feedback that we've not been able to raise this week, but bless you, everyone, for getting involved. We really, really appreciate it. Thank you for the emails. Thank you for the Instagram messages. You can find us basically everywhere if you search for Man vs. Mind Pod. There's so much to find across Instagram, on email, manvsmindpod@gmail.com, and so many other places. But Jay, before we actually go, I'm going to let your dad have the last word.
Okay.
You ready for this?
I don't know. I'm quite emotional as it is.
This is cool,
Maybe
man.
the straw that breaks the camel's back.
No. So this is Jay's dad and his thoughts on the joys of getting older.
Ooh.
See you next week.
The upside of aging, i.e. getting older, brings wisdom and experience. In some cases, not all. In my case, having more time at home and not having to travel for weeks on end is great. Seeing your family grow up, having young ones of their own, having more time to do the things that work for you, not having to constantly be thinking about the working environment. It takes a bit of time to get there, i.e. winding down. But when you're there, it's a far better place. Having to schedule in the working week around weekends. As now, every day is a weekend. Having more time with your wife and the dogs. More time in the allotment growing our own vegetables and riding my Harley. The days seem to go faster now than when I was working. I certainly do not have any problem at all filling the day. I'm up at 6 in the morning and bed around 12 or later nearly every day. However, the most important thing is that everybody is healthy and happy. Nothing else really matters.
That's so lovely.
See you next week.
Cheers, guys.